Let us pray. Creator God, on this great graduation day, we give thanks for the rich inheritance we have received from this university and for the wisdom and encouragement of those who have opened our minds, challenged our perceptions, and enriched our learning. And for family and friends who have supported us and encouraged us to achieve our goals, we give our thanks. Bless all our graduates, those who will use their newfound wisdom to push forward the frontiers of science, to develop the use of new technology for the benefit of all, and to plan and engineer an exciting new future. Inspire those who will promote greater understanding of our physical world and the workings of our human body, and those who will use their gifts of knowledge and compassion for the relief of suffering and the building up of health care of all humanity. And for those who govern our countries, wisdom to see clearly and strength to act rightly. We give thanks for all our graduates. May they meet each new opportunity with a bold and daring spirit and find great happiness in all that they do. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. Please be seated. Welcome to all of you to this morning's graduation ceremony. And before we start the conferment of the ceremony, it's my pleasure to invite the Principal and Vice Chancellor to address us.
Thank you, Chancellor. Chancellor, Lord Provost, graduands, honorary graduand, ladies and gentlemen, let me add my very warm welcome to those of the Chancellor, to all of you here today, and especially to those of you who are visiting Dundee for the first time. I'd like to extend a very warm welcome on behalf of the City and the University of Dundee, Scotland's University of the Year. And this is an occasion when we should take pride in our university. So I'll take the opportunity here to expand on that and other accolades which have come our way this year, not least because you have all been part of bringing us to where we are now, as students and very shortly as graduates. It is also a reflection of the efforts of staff, many of whom are gathered here on the stage to join you in your celebrations. Our ambition is to become Scotland's leading university in all that we choose to do over the next 2 decades. And this year has shown that in many respects, that is a claim we can already make. We have not only been named Scottish University of the Year, but we are the #1 in Scotland for student experience, the top-ranked young university in the UK in the global rankings of universities under 50 years old. We're top in Scotland and 5th in the UK among Europe's most innovative universities. And we're now firmly established as one of the world's leading 200 universities. And these are all fantastic recognition for us, not just the university, but also for you as our graduates. So our hope is that as graduates of Dundee, you will become our ambassadors to the world, both for the university and the city. In turn, we ensure now and into the future that the name of the university on your CV is seen as a mark of quality and esteem. And we've gathered these accolades while operating in a difficult period for higher education, where core funding from government has been under severe pressure, and we've had to make some very difficult decisions. And that we've come through this and enjoyed such a spectacular year of successes is due in large part to the fact that we've held on to our values throughout this time and have always prioritized the interests of students in everything we do. And this is quite simply because students are the lifeblood of the university. You come here from all over the world, from 147 different countries at the last count, and that's 3/4 of all the nations of the world. And whether you arrived from Shanghai, from Southampton, or indeed from Scotland itself, we will always be committed to welcoming you to Dundee and supporting you in your time here. And whatever the conditions of Brexit following the momentous decision of the referendum that took place yesterday, this university will always be committed to welcoming students and staff from around the world, including Europe, and to participating in Europe-wide research collaborations that bring so much to Scotland and the UK. Whilst we are bringing more students from around the world to Dundee than ever before, I'm especially proud that we're also leading the way in Scotland in widening access to higher education, giving students a chance who would otherwise not have had the opportunity to study at a world-class university. My commitment to widening participation is also intensely personal. By modern standards, my own background would have been regarded as an example of widening access. I was the first of my family to be offered a place at university, but it was a place I didn't take because, frankly, it seemed to be an alien environment to a young person like me from a working-class, single-parent background. So my route to personal transformation weaved its way through industry, college, and day-release study before finally finding the courage to embark on a PhD at Birmingham University. So it's my commitment that we must ensure that young people today have a route to higher education and the benefits it can bring, whatever their background. And that commitment is shared by all of the staff of this university. The latest figures show that we lead Scotland in delivering better access to higher education. The number of students from the most deprived areas of the country taking up places at Dundee has more than doubled in the last 5 years, significantly outperforming any other university in Scotland. Now, being amongst the UK's most innovative universities, with values which compel us to transform lives and to promote social justice, is reflected in the honours bestowed upon staff during the last 12 months. And telling briefly the stories of these honours is one way to illustrate the points I've just made. So we see this with the work of Professor Sue Black, who was made a Dame in the birthday honours earlier this month. Now, Professor Black is here on the stage and probably squirming and looking embarrassed as we speak, but it is a great honour for her and for the university. It's also an honour for her colleagues in forensic sciences, who include Vivian Maguire, who herself received an MBE in the New Year honours list. And in our Centre for Anatomy and Human Identification and the new Leverhulme Research Centre for Forensic Science, they have made Dundee a world leader, pioneering new techniques which are proving effective in helping convict some of society's worst child abuse offenders, helping solve historical cases, and revolutionizing the teaching of new generations of forensic scientists and anatomists. We also see it in the work of Professor Annalou Waller, also here on the stage, who received an OBE earlier this year, and her colleagues in computing who have helped establish Dundee as one of the world's leading centres for research into augmentative and alternative communication technologies for people with severe communication difficulties, literally giving a voice to those people. And we see it also in the work of Professor Jill Belch, awarded an OBE for her services to medicine. She has been central in helping us translate the new knowledge generated through research into effective patient care that delivers real benefits to people across society. It's also apparent in work across all of the schools that make up the university. And we see it in the subject areas of those graduating this morning. For example, in dentistry, centenary celebrations this year have shown the continuing impact of Dundee. It's quite amazing that more than half of all the deans of all the dental schools in the UK currently have Dundee graduates as their deans. That's a remarkable demonstration of the quality and strength of dentistry here in Dundee. Perhaps not surprising, though, given that we are consistently rated as having one of the best dental courses in the UK and the best in Scotland. We also see it in science and engineering. In addition to the kind of achievements I've already mentioned in forensics and computing, we are ranked as providing some of the UK's best courses in maths, engineering, and physics. As I said before, we have a goal to become Scotland's leading university in all that we choose to do. And as the examples I've just mentioned show, we are already leading, not just in the UK, but internationally in much of that work. Our reputation as a centre of excellence can only help you in your future lives. And I hope you will continue to watch and stay connected with us as the university goes from strength to strength. 2017 will see us celebrating our 50th anniversary, when I hope to welcome many of you and some of our 80,000 alumni back to the city and the university campus. In those 50 years, we have achieved a great deal. And I'm excited by the prospects of where we can go in the next 25 years. All of my colleagues here today are also filled with anticipation of what each of you may achieve in the next phase of your lives. I wish you all well for the future and hope you will continue to take pride in the achievements of your university. And on behalf of all the staff, may I wish you good luck as you embark on your own journeys of transformation. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal, for that address. Now, normally I don't do this at this time, this stage in the ceremony, but I think it's probably the right moment to do so. And I hope you'll all forgive me for doing so. But I think when the Principal mentioned the award, particularly to Professor Dame Sue Black, we have had many knighthoods, well, quite a few knighthoods in the university, but never have we had a dame in the university. So we are very proud of that. And I know that you restrained at that stage from the applause when her name was mentioned. So we'll correct that right now. I got that fierce Dame Sue Black look just now. And I'll get plenty more because I'm about to do something else.
There is nothing like a day, nothing in the world. There is nothing you can name that is anything like a day.
Thank you, Tom. Sorry to do that to you, Sue, but I couldn't resist it. Now we get on to the academic ceremony of this morning. It is my pleasure to invite Dr. Andrew Hall from the School of Dentistry.
Chancellor, before the dental graduands are presented, I will ask them to assent to a declaration that they will maintain traditional standards of professional conduct. Will the dental graduands please stand while I read the declaration? I solemnly promise to use to the best of my knowledge and ability the art and science of my profession for the good of those under my care and to make the preservation and restoration of their health my constant aim. I shall keep secret anything I see or hear in my practice that should not be divulged. I shall constantly endeavour to improve my knowledge and skills within my profession and to share useful discoveries with my fellow practitioners, whom I shall promise to hold in fraternal regard. These things I shall do for the benefit of those whom I seek to serve and for the honour of the profession that I now join. Do you make this promise?
I wish the medics would take the oath with such enthusiasm. Thank you. We'll try them this afternoon. It's now my pleasure to ask Professor Mark Hector to introduce the graduates from the School of Dentistry.
Chancellor, it is my honor to present for the degree of Bachelor of Dental Surgery, Isra Al-Safir. Alexander Antoine. Aisling Barton. Jennifer Bent. Justina Boguska. Rachel Boyle. Aoife Brady. Louise Campbell. Iona Carlin. Nicole Carlin. Tom Casey. Henry Chen. Heather Cochran. David Comerford. Joanne Cubitt. Laura Donahoe. Anya Drummond. Miriam Figgy. Diane Fowler. Noah Grace. Sarah Gibson. Sarah Glass. Laura Grant. Angie Gu. Kane Hamilton. Andrew Hughes. Callum Hutchison. Nitesh Kumar. Marianne Lynch-Small. Gavin McKinnon. Louise Magilton. Melissa Manson. Joanna McCauley. Louisa McCaffrey. Stuart McCaffrey. Conor McCambridge. Jennifer McCloskey. Helen McEldowney. Amy McCarlin. Sarah McIlrath. Ashley McLean. Gemma McClintock, Matthew McPhee, Glenn Milne, Raminta Mokapitrit, Maurice Uddin, Mariam Mohammed Mayuddin, Claire Mullen, Connor O'Hare, Shiva Haran Palanisamy, Roisin Patel, Robert Patterson, Savan Radia, Wei Saik, Emily Sargent, Holly Schofield, Zahid Sheikh, Hannah Shields, Elliot Sizer, Deborah So, Anna Sawari, Claire Salt, Andrew Taylor, Natalie Walker, Alyssa Watson, and Gemma White. And for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Oral Health Sciences, Henry Cairns, Amy Clark, Maritza Logan, Mia Mortimer, Paula Slavinska, and Alicia Wozniak. And for the Master of Science in Prosthodontics, Sarah Abu Razi, Ali Ibrahim, Mohammed Al-Harbi, Rasha Al-Harfi, Afaf Al-Mabadi, Turki Al-Miraki, Omar Al-Shaibi, Samira bin Hajj, Narmin El-Athram, Mirat Hakiki, Emad Musa, Najwa Un, Muhammad Razamzanian, Shamin Sado, and Ali Saleh. For the Master of Science by Research, Andrew Edwards. And Catherine Martin. And for a Master of Science, Rahana Ayudidi, and Nadia Almondes. And for the Doctor of Philosophy, Tamar Ali Jaman, Nawaf Al-Mustafa, Abu Bakr Katishat, and Samiha Salah Satawi.
Thank you, Professor Hector. It's now my pleasure to invite Professor Fordyce Davidson from the School of Science and Engineering.
Chancellor, it is my honour to present for the degree of Master of Engineering with Honours, Lee Armour. Oliver Bishop. Bodijar Boydayev. Andrew Carrigan. Cameron Cooper. Stavros Drakopoulos. Flora Featherstone. Ryan Henry. Nicholas Hobson. Liam Jones. Konstantinos Karas. Kirillis Kowalskis. Jonathan McCormack. Oliver Noble. Alexander Puddock. Mark Shanks. Stephen Smith. Maria Sorensen Bentham. Grant Woodhouse. Graham Woolley. Jason Woolridge. and Husafia Yakub. And for the Master of Mathematics with Honours, Jordan Pierce. And for Master of Science with Honours, Daniel Jansen. Kayleigh Morgan. Christopher Dunn. Keith Eason. And for the degree of Bachelor of Engineering with Honours, Thomas Fortescue. Ahmad Al-Rifia. Mark Edis. Andrew Ellis. Fraser Main. Ivan Mukov. Scott O'Reilly. Matthew Steele. Kushal Tamta. Sean Taylor. Callum Thompson. Georgi Valshev. Tim Wold. Stanislav Zoroshev. Chongjong Chuang. Kyle Farrington. Anton Skolosovs. Tanaswa Jamera. Andrea Maguire. Ross Matheson. Kirsty Glasgow. Nadal Ahmad. Ewan Baird. Jamie Baird. Aureline Bourdon. Chanel Buchan. Rumpam Bulbul. Alexander Clark. Pananoitis Cornelio. Thomas Cumming. Harry Ego. Douglas Ferguson. Martin Field. Nicholas Forbes. Scott Fraser. Lewis Hayes. Brandon Henderson. Jordan Howitt. Osama Kolge. Sebastian Larson. Nicole Malin. Thomas McCracken. Eosh Paldo. Stephen Scott. James Scott. Andrew Simpson. Eva Skuktelka. Nico Talplacido. Jordan Walkinshaw. Ming-Kei Wang. Christopher Welsh. Trevor Wilkinson. Fraser Williams. Hassan Zafar. And Alexander Zagrobski. And for the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Matthew Poole. Well done, Matthew. And for the degree of Bachelor of Science with Honours, James Atwood. Matthew Ball. Karen Brown. Nicola Cabrelli. Catherine Coburn. Amy Costello. Safira Mohammed Rafi. Neil Devlin. Hannah Faulkner. Clona Grant. Diane Ireland. Sophie James. Catherine Johnson. Larissa Kennel. Benjamin Lemon. Uxia Lorenzo. Grant Paul. Andrew Sanderson. Kieran Smith. Shannon Smith. Rachel Stevenson. Now, do we have Abeltha? We do. Abeltha Urstua. Hannah Waite. Leslie Young. Madeleine Barker. Peter Bennington. Iago Carvalho. Claire Dahl. Robin Davies. Plamen Denev. Stuart Douglas. Christopher Dunlop. Kristen Georgiev. Kayleigh Henry. Vladislav Ingedev. Daniel Joyce. Luke Kelly. David Kenny. Jamie Kerr. Dragomir Kolev. Daniel Leonard. Alistair Letham. Gareth Lloyd. Kim Lundahl Nilsson. Alexander MacDonald. Colin McKee. Curtis Menure. Babak Momen. William Neal. Andrew Ray. Thomas Roberts. Jose Salviertra. Sean Smith. Anna Solovoja. Konstantin Inovic. Tamara Leonard. Parakavevos Messios. David Ogle. Andrew Pond. Tamas Suvejas. Eduard Tarasov. Samuel Watkins. Kayleigh Abercrombie. Jack Crozier. Louise Davidson. Rachel Fennell. Lucia Galmozivia. Stephanie Kerr. Charles Ritchie. Eva Sorensen. Claire Stewart. Chris Vanden Kunenberg. Kaylee Watson. Holly Wilkinson. Megan Williams. Kimberly Withers. Egil Zaskustiaka. Sorry. Joshua Avern. Daniel McKay. Katerina Burlokis. Thomas Eve. Emily Walsh. Leah Berstaji. Charlotte Chapman. Lucas Igentler. Elaine Fleming. Elaine Gribben Beringer. Cassie Hinkskin. Jamie Ingram. Danielle McAllister. Rory McGrath. Stuart Meikle. Fergus Schofield. Nicola Tate. David Tho. Michelle Villa. Alice Garrett. Anthony Houghton. Adam McKilmoyle. Elliot McKillop. Matthew Quinn. Callum Smith. And for the degree of Bachelor of Science, Ivan Mashalov. Sondy Smith. Leah Oliver. Alistair Irving. For the Master of Science, Christopher Green. Victor Chong. I beg your pardon, Victor. Victor Chong. Christopher Green. Jan Holenshead. Susan Sloan. Oliver Burden. Luis Far Solis. Michael Hudgell. Atharva Indamar. Kyle McKenzie. Michael Pate. Murray Snedden. David Todd. And for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Shazia Akbar. Mohammed Al-Kazim. Akubar Gabar Akubakar. Stephen Grant. Mohammed Hussein. Chao Chong Liao. Siamalin Minababan. Ru Pan. Enrico Pellegrini. Stephen Ward. And finally, Hugh Zhu.
Thank you, Professor Davidson. Principal, can I?
Chancellor, I have the honour to invite you to confer their degrees in absence upon the candidates who have been unable to attend this ceremony.
By the authority of the Senate, I confer these degrees.
Now, just before I ask you all to join together in a collective celebration of your success, I thought it might be a good opportunity to turn the tables on the Chancellor. And it is the Chancellor who makes our graduation ceremony so special, with his genuine warmth, his gentle humour, and his absolute rapport with the students and your families and friends. But you may not know that this is the 10th anniversary of Lord Naren Patel becoming our Chancellor, and I would like you to join me in encouraging him to serve for another 10 years. Thank you. I noticed Sue Black was applauding with particular relish on that occasion. Okay, so now in this part we want you to join in and really celebrate your success. Now, I was talking to Tim Hustler, who's the outgoing president of DUSA yesterday, and he said that students had been disappointed that I had not done my usual thing of exhorting you with examples from the footballing arena, because I'm a well-known football fan. Given that there's a major international competition going on at the moment, they were surprised I hadn't used an example. So here's what I expect of you. If any of you watched the Republic of Ireland game against Italy, the mighty Italy, where they thought there might be one or two, where Ireland needed to win to qualify for the last 16, and with about 3 minutes to go, scored an absolutely brilliant goal. That's the kind of noise I want you to make. So, with my personal congratulations for your success, well done, everybody. Apart from the green hats and green face paint, I think that was about right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Principal, for that impromptu embarrassment. Time will come. Can I please invite now Professor Peter Davies to introduce the honorary graduate.
Chancellor, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, Professor Harindra Joseph Shamal Fernando. Outside his family, Professor Fernando is known simply as Joe by those hundreds of researchers across the world who have had the good fortune to have been inspired and guided by his work. He's one of the world's leading environmental scientists, and his numerous important contributions in the field of environmental fluid mechanics have led to increased understanding of the ways in which the atmosphere and the oceans behave and affect our quality of life. For all of his scientific life, he's pursued fundamental research in fluid dynamics, the flow of liquids and gases, and he's pioneered new approaches to our understanding of fluid flow and its importance in environmental and industrial processes. Professor Fernando graduated with first-class honors in mechanical engineering in his native Sri Lanka and moved to the US in 1980 to the Johns Hopkins University, where he was awarded his PhD. Following postdoctoral research there and at the California Institute of Technology, his first academic appointment was at the Arizona State University, where he led a highly productive research group and where he founded and directed the multidisciplinary Center for Environmental Fluid Dynamics. In 2010, he was appointed to his current position as endowed professor in engineering and geosciences at the University of Notre Dame. His glittering CV demonstrates the pace and richness of his career. His promise as a scientific researcher was recognized at an early stage by the Presidential Young Investigator Award he received in 1987 from the US National Science Foundation. And his prolific record of publications in leading scientific journals has established him as a leading international figure in his field. He's been awarded over $35 million in external support from national and international funding bodies. I counted, I think, 160 separate external grants that he'd been awarded. This demonstrates the confidence shown by those bodies in the excellence of his research and the respect afforded to the work that he leads. His standing in the international research community is evidenced by the recognition he's received from many institutions and learned bodies. He's an elected fellow of the American Society of Mechanical Engineers, the American Physical Society, the American Meteorological Society, the American Association for the Advancement of Science, and the Academy of Europe. He's held visiting professorships at the Solar Energy Research Institute, the Universities of Cambridge, Tel Aviv, and Toulon, the UK Meteorological Office, and the ETH in Zurich. The dominant themes that have characterized Professor Fernando's research career are flow instability, waves, and turbulence, all classical areas of fluid mechanics that require further progress in understanding. As an aside, I'm sure that many of the mechanical engineering and civil engineering students sitting in the audience today will be experiencing a cold shiver at the mention of the word turbulence, since the parts of their courses dealing with turbulent flows have often been very painful for them. By combining innovative laboratory and field investigations, elegant mathematics, and perceptive physical insight, Professor Fernando has tackled this difficult subject and demonstrated new perspectives that illuminate our understanding of turbulence. The distinguishing property of research, however, lies not only in its fundamental nature, but also in its application to solving environmental and industrial problems. We recognize this approach these days when we seek to achieve impact for our research, but it's perhaps useful to note that this emphasis was not always present. I'm reminded of the quotation of one of the greatest mathematicians of the earlier 20th century, G.H. Hardy, who stated, "Nothing I've ever done is of the slightest practical use." Joe Fernando has been one of those scientists to have shown that, at least in the field of fluid mechanics, one can be a bit more ambitious than that, while still being true to the fundamental nature of academic research. He's looked at societally important problems and has demonstrated the impact of research in mitigating or preventing human-induced practices that are harmful to the environment. He carries out this research with dedication, honesty, and passion. His interest in the way in which atmospheric flows are influenced by complex terrain has led to important breakthroughs, particularly with regard to prediction and management of air quality in urban areas. He's one of the founders, if not the founder, of the subject of urban fluid mechanics, and he's led the way in understanding how external weather systems, patterns of urban land use and thermal emissions, the distribution, shape, and size of buildings, and the presence of surrounding hills and mountains can be taken into account to provide predictions to authorities having responsibilities for air quality in cities. He now leads the field in this discipline, and the expertise of his group has been deployed nationally and internationally, not only to predict air quality, but also to lead large multinational projects on air-sea interactions, internal waves, and remote sensing of atmospheric waves and instabilities. The societal impact of Professor Fernando's research has increased more and more in recent years. I'll give you a good example. He was appointed in 2006 as a member of the specialist survey team assembled by the US National Science Foundation to investigate the effects in Sri Lanka of the tsunami generated by the Boxing Day earthquake in Sumatra. This tsunami caused enormous destruction throughout the Indian Ocean coastal communities, particularly in Sri Lanka, and is estimated to have left over 250,000 persons missing or dead. Professor Fernando, as part of that survey team, played a leading role in showing that coral poaching, the illegal removal of coral from sites around the shoreline, was a key factor in the devastation caused at these locations. He conducted field observation and laboratory studies to demonstrate the jetting of flow through areas where corals were missing. And his work has been independently verified and has paved the way for new regulations in tsunami-ravaged countries. This work received international attention not only in the scientific literature, but also from policymakers. It's been featured in numerous media presentations, including articles in the New York Times, the Herald Tribune, and the Guardian. Most significantly, however, he was a commentator and lead consultant for the BBC Horizon program Tsunamis: Anatomy of a Disaster, which was broadcast in 2005 and was seen by 61 million viewers around the world. As well as this work, his research on urban fluid mechanics has attracted attention. It's been highlighted in numerous programs on local and national television in the United States, including ABC News, NBC News, and a program, How to Build a Cooler City, featured on the PBS NewsHour. In 2008, the Arizona Republic newspaper included him in Tempe 5 Who Matter, one of the 5 residents who have made a notable difference in the life of the city for his work on the Phoenix urban heat island. At national and international levels, he's performed outstanding public service through his membership of specialist panels assembled by the National Science Foundation and other government and public agencies. These appointments and many more bear witness to the regard in which his expertise is valued by policymakers and planners. Notwithstanding his eminence as an international scientist, Professor Fernando remains a modest and unassuming person. His open, enthusiastic approach to research has resulted in productive collaborations with scientists from all over the world. His connection to the University of Dundee extends over 30 years, and his collaboration with the Environmental Fluid Mechanics Group at Dundee has been crucial to its development. More than anything, it's been enormously rewarding and enjoyable. Professor Fernando has provided advice and guidance to many of the group's PhD students, and he's often provided a kind of finishing school for new PhD students and postdoc researchers from Dundee by finding funds to enable them to spend extensive periods in his laboratory in the US. His unfailing generosity with research ideas and technical advice has been beneficial for the University of Dundee, and many of the successes achieved here would not have been possible without his support. Through his selfless dedication to his research and his priority of applying his knowledge to practical engineering and environmental problems for the benefit of society, Professor Fernando is an outstanding role model for our graduating students today. It's entirely appropriate that the University of Dundee recognizes his outstanding scientific achievements, his leadership of his discipline, his exemplary public service, and his key influence on the development of environmental fluid dynamics at this university. Chancellor, I have the honor to invite you to confer upon Professor Harindra Joseph Shamal Fernando the degree of Doctor of Laws.
By the authority of the Senate, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Laws. Congratulations and welcome to the university. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, University of Dundee, the Dundee administration led by Lord Narendra Patel, as well as Pete Downey. And thank you, the University of Dundee staff and faculty, the students, especially the graduating class you, for sharing your day with me and for this great honor. Certainly, it's a great honor and certainly a pleasure as well as privilege to be here. And I never thought this day will arrive, and I never even imagined this day will arrive. But thank you very much all for sharing your day with me. And I'm sure that you are not expecting any prolonged exposition, academic exposition from me, because you had 3 years of lectures from academics, and now you want to get out and enjoy a little bit. But I hope you will give me a few minutes to make some remarks in this remarkable day, which I hope it is okay. So the first, I have to thank my family. My wife and my daughter, they are here. And I have 3 sons who are back at home. And they have been a prime mover of my career. And they have really helped selflessly and with dedication and with support and sacrifices as I move through this career process. And I thank them. Second, my good friend, Peter Davies, who was my nominator for this and who gave a very lengthy exposition about the achievements. And Peter and I started about 1986 collaborating across the Atlantic. And ever since, we have been collaborating. Although we started as collaborators, he suddenly became my mentor because I learned so much from him about laboratory experiments, some physics of fluids, and really it became he was my mentor rather than a collaborator. And through him, I had access and also pleasure of working with University of Dundee students, postdoctoral fellows, some of even the visitors to University of Dundee stopped by in the US to work with us. So that really led to publications, the proposals, and several meetings in international conferences, and that was a great run. And the most important thing is, with time, Peter became a very good friend, and together with his good wife, Anne, we really enjoyed their company as well as various discussions about life. And I really thank them for that friendship too, in addition to being a collaborator and a mentor. And in addition, you can see that there are a lot of people working behind the scenes. For example, in my case, my teachers from my small days. And then you have your teachers in your graduate school. And you have your collaborators, your mentors, and people who are providing technical support. All of these people, without them, I cannot be here on this podium today. So I would like to thank them. There are countless number of people, but 2 people I want to mention. One is Professor Don Boyer, who was my initial mentor at Arizona State, and also Lord Julian Hunt from University of Cambridge, who basically nudged me into different directions, which I kind of picked up, how the usual fluid mechanics can be applied to the societal applications. I would like to remind them and thank them at this time. And then to you. You have been so generous to withstand all these things among a long process of graduation to another honorary degree. You had to sit down and listen to me, but I really thank you. And when you see me here, probably you get some kind of accomplishment, some type of achievement of an academic. But that's something which you see. But what you don't see is the failure. So to get these achievements, there is a series of failures. Always life is full of failures before the success. So remember that failures are something you learn, you calibrate your life, and that is a pillar for success. So when you get into failures, just don't get deterred and use that as a stepping stone. Remember all beautiful rainbows. Before that, you have to have that pesky rain and some sunshine to become a beautiful rainbow. Next, now you are going to walk out to the real world with your degree, and then you will face a very complex world, much more complex than it used to be because it's rapidly changing. So now you have the basic knowledge, but you have to keep on changing yourself to face the changing world. So please don't forget to improve yourself, continuously improve yourself to face this world. That means continuing education, self-reflection to see whether you are going in the correct path, and also innovation, new ideas coming up with fearlessly, applying them can be of real beneficial to you. So continuing improvement of yourself is another thing you want to remember. And finally, when you start going up tomorrow, now your career has started, and you have a passport, a degree from a great university. Now you use this as a passport to go up, and it has provided basic tools. So when you keep on going up on your career ladder, remember a few things. First, there are laws, regulations, and also ethical behavior. So don't try to shortcut them when you are going up. Be consistent, be true to yourself, and then when you are going up, that can really lead to a good endeavor for the whole humanity. For the betterment of the humanity, you need to have honest, ethical people, and while you are improving yourself, remember not to forget your behavior, ethical behavior in the workplace, as well as whatever you do. And finally, when you start going up, just stop for a few moments and pause and look down. And you will see a lot of people who want to go up, but they did not have opportunities as you had because they are underprivileged, they don't have connections, they're disadvantaged. So if possible, try to take one or two of them up. So can you imagine if you take one or two of them up, the whole graduating class, how much impact you can make? And then the whole university, 3,000 people, how much impact you make? And the whole graduating classes of year 2016, how much it can make for the whole world. So if you do this, you can make this world a better place, a much better place in near future, and your generation will be called blessed and great. So certainly, thank you very much, and I cherish this opportunity to be here, and also being a part of 2016 University of Dundee graduating class. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Fernando. You mentioned your wife and your daughter, your wife Ravini and your daughter Kalini, and we most welcome them to the university. Thank you. Now, you already had a taste of our fantastic choir, but you're going to have some more. So, choir master, the choir.
If you give me your attention, I will tell you what I am. I'm a genius and a physicist and something of a ham. I've tried for numerous degrees, in fact I've one of each. Of course that makes me eminently qualified to teach. I understand the subject matter thoroughly, it's true. And I can see why it is not as obvious to you. My lectures are all masterpieces, excellently planned. Yet everybody tells me that I'm hard to understand, and I can't think why. I can't think why. I really, really can't think why. My diagrams are models of true art, you must agree, and my handwriting is famous for its legibility. When I write gravitation, say, or any other word, for anyone to say he cannot read it is absurd. My demonstrations all get more remarkable each year, though frankly what they go to prove is sometimes less than clear. And all my explanations are quite lucid, I am sure. Yet everybody tells me that my lectures are obscure, and I can't think why. I can't think why. I really, really can't think why. Consider, for example, oscillation of a spring. The force that acts upon it is a very simple thing. It's kx cubed or kx squared or just kx, I'll bet. The sign in front is plus or is it minus, I forget. Well, anywhere there is a force, of that there is no doubt. All these problems are quite trivial if you only think them out. Yet memorize the whole term through. Everything you've told us, what the problems I can't do, and I can't think why. I can't think why. I really, really can't think why.
It wasn't personal to anybody in particular, was it? Thank you very much. You are a fantastic choir. Now, unless anybody else, staff included, wishes to sing, I have to call this academic ceremony to a close. I declare this academic ceremony closed. Please be upstanding.